This is root section, the whole root section and a double trunk coming up, and the problem with it is it's hollow inside.
Rotten? Is it rotten or just?
No, it's really healthy, but it's just hollow inside. And so, in order to get the carving I want out of this, the table shape, I need to cut a plane that'll go through here. But I have to leave enough wood that misses the hollow area. And if I cut too deep, I'll lose the whole piece. And if I don't cut far enough in, I won't get enough flat area. And I need to use my big saw for this in order to even hope to get a flat plane with this thing.
This is quite a challenging piece here.
This is really challenging to get a plane cut on something like that. Yeah. Just to lay it out and then even to cut it, because your saw wants to go off and if it's not really sharp, and it just pulls to the side, so you got to really be careful to go back and forth and cut from each side. Now you can look at the plane. I got a really nice flat plane.
Super.
It looks like a beautiful piece of wood. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off on this side. I'll cut, this will be the bottom, and then I'll, carve a sculptural table out of it.
So this plane that you just cut is the top?
That's the top. This will be the legs. Now before you started filming, I had not only laid this all out, but you notice I chopped away all of the rocks and the sand. This whole inside is hollow.
Oh, that's what you were trying to miss.
See, I needed to miss that in order to have enough wood surface to work.
How come this is hollow, do you think?
It looks like it's really healthy. It probably just grew that way.
Yeah. Well, it's going to make a really interesting table.
Yeah, it'll be fun to design this one.
So 2 days ago, this wasn't even a table in your mind?
Because of the shape, I kept looking and realizing every other direction I would cut, I'd just end up in a big hole. Any other direction, I would have gotten nothing out of it.
Yeah, and that'll be a table.
Yeah, it's such a tight heart. So I'll be able to leave that heart in the tabletop. That way, see, I could get down farther and to get my slice across. Otherwise, if I'd come up here, they would have had no wood here.
Yeah. So it's all one piece, all 3 legs.
This is the piece that we looked at. This was all hollow through here, and it was full of sand and rocks, and that all had to be cleared out.
It's really nice. I like the holes. So how about these, the black marks? They're almost like charred or scorched. Was this in a fire?
Sometimes especially the root section, you'll just get naturally occurring black areas. Once I've removed the wood that has to be removed, then I'm concerned with design. Cut a hole through here like I have in other spots, and this chain saw has close teeth on it, and it has a tip that's about the size of a dime. And that makes it so that it will kick, but it's not much less likely to kick. Because when these chainsaws kick, it can come back at you and cut you, so that you have to be careful. One thing that you have to be very conscious of, as I start going down through here, now I'm about halfway through, but it's a void under here, so it'd be very easy to have part of yourself under there and cut through and cut yourself. I'll be careful not to go too far this way because then the hole would extend past this, so I'll do that when it after it's dry.
Fine with a chisel or
Yeah,
something.
I'll fine tune it with a die grinder.
I like that third hole in it.
Yeah, if this area didn't have any holes in it, then it would become less like sculpture and more like a table. Even though it's a interesting shape and has a couple levels, you start getting more three-dimensionality to it when you get shapes that have holes. If I tried doing a hole with this, it probably would jump back and cut me. But that saw cuts very, very slowly, so I don't use that for carving generally unless I have a specific need for it. This is kind of clumpy here, so I need to refine this shape. I have two considerations here. One is the grain is going this way instead of this way, so I have to maintain a lot of strength. So I need to take off enough wood to give it movement, but leave it strong. So this plane will have to become part of this plane in order to deal with what I've done to the other side. As soon as you're dealing with a three-dimensional shape, you do one thing, it affects another. So that'll be fine. I can make additional decisions after it's dried. Now it's at a good point to dry it.
Nice and dramatic. So what we're looking at now is almost like looking up into the tree from where it was. Remember when you first had this piece of wood, it was hollow down here, wasn't it?
Yeah, the tree grew this way.
Yeah.
And probably about this amount right here.
Yeah.
Was out of the ground, and the rest of this was root structure underneath the ground.
And then this is the void here we're looking at is the part that was hollow under the tree.
Yes, yeah, this is the part that all had to be cleaned up.
The wood is already seasoned, but this is a bit like seasoning the wood.
The wood's green.
Oh, it's still
It's
green.
wet. I carve with wet wood. Seasoning is just drying, that's all it is. And if I were to dry this, air dry this, it would take about 2 or 3 years.
Oh my goodness.
And I'll dry this in 6 weeks. I'm adding 2 gallons of water to the kiln, and each one of those pottery bowls will hold a gallon. This will turn into steam about 1 gallon a day. So every 2 days I have to put 2 gallons of water in here for 2 weeks. That's why I can dry these thick pieces of wood without them cracking, because I keep the outside moist, and so you're drawing moisture from the inside out. And what happens if you don't have moisture on the outside? The outside becomes smaller than the inside because it's drier than the inside, and so it cracks.